Well, first I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. Adam, Lindsay, how long have you guys been together for?
Almost 10 years. I want to add.
Let's say Adam had to relocate because of his job, and you guys had to be forced into a long-distance relationship. How would that make you guys feel?
That would be hard.
How would you deal with it? Well, long-distance relationships can be defined as couples who are separated by a substantial amount of distance. And many people all around the world are forced to go in these long-distance relationships. There are many different ways these long-distance relationships can be developed. They either can lead to disadvantages and some advantages. Also, with today's technology, you're able to communicate with each other easier and get the communication needed to make your relationship grow. Now, first, let's take a look at the reasons why long-distance relationships happen. There are three most common ways long-distance relationships occur. One is either through students going to college, another is relocating because of a job, and the third is simply just meeting online. In the article, Relationships 101, Having Healthy Relationships in Your First Year of College, Dr. Gary Ladowski wrote, 75% of college students have a long-distance relationship at some point during their college careers. And most would suspect high school sweethearts that are forced to get into a long-distance relationship when they go away to different colleges. I personally had this experience with my high school sweetheart, and I always went to NIU and she stayed home, and we were into a long-distance relationship, which brought a lot of hardship for us. Now, as job relocation, as David Karp said in his article in The Economics of Long-Distance Relationships, an increasing demand for higher educated and more specialized workers means that it's harder for people to relocate and find acceptable jobs, increasing the chance that the couple will become long distance for labor market reasons. There are many people who struggle with this because they just either decide to go and take the job and force a long distance relationship, but it's a very great job, or they decide to stay with their partners and settle for a more less successful job. I have a friend who has experienced this when her boyfriend got a great job out in Alabama, and he was forced to relocate, and they were in a long distance relationship, which brought a lot of hardship for their relationship. Another way a long distance relationship can occur with the disadvantages is meeting someone on the internet. Online dating sites are being used more and more as technology advances. So communication through the internet is a fast-growing route for people to meet. Just like David Karp said in his article, use of the internet increases the likelihood that two people who live in different locations will fall in love. I do have another friend who she met her boyfriend online, and he lives in Michigan, so it is a long-distance relationship because she can only see him on the weekends. So with these disadvantages of long-distance relationships, as Marlene Wong from Chapman University in their article Mediated Communication in Long-Distance Relationships, having a long-distance relationship is especially difficult for couples because of the amount of time is needed to be able to manage and satisfy a relationship. So the disadvantages of having a long-distance relationship in college is that you have the urge to leave college to go visit your significant other, and you just miss classes, which can cause you to fail and fail out of school. Also, you can be missing in all the college experience. Dr. Landowski said, for a variety of reasons, breakups are common the first year of college. When my high school sweetheart and I, we had to go through a lot of hardships, and I would always end up skipping classes just so I could leave early and go see her on the weekends. Now, some disadvantages of relocating due to your job is you really don't know how long this long-distance relationship will have to go for. You don't know if you eventually have to move out there or even at all, if the relationship just goes nowhere. And you only have holidays and vacation time to spend with each other depending on how far you guys. This is the same thing that goes for with my friend whose boyfriend got a job in Alabama. She was only forced to see him maybe a couple of times a year. The disadvantage of having an online long-distance relationship is when you first meet the person online, you really don't know who they are. They can have a false identity, you just don't know. As Marlene Wong said, this situation brings a struggle to the relationship because it hardly gets the quality and satisfaction that comes from a face-to-face relationship. Plus, when you have this long-distance relationship and develop something, one person will have to change their life and move and relocate to the other person. And plus, you're unable to build this relationship from actual dating. However, with all these disadvantages, there are some advantages to having these long distance relationships. When you go to college, you have more time to concentrate on your schoolwork and not have the distraction of your significant other being there. Also, you have more time to experience in independent social activities, which gives you that college experience that's needed. Also, when you graduate, you can have the chance of being together again and just live with each other. Another advantage is for relocating because of a job, you're able to take advantage of opportunities as they arise, which can also lead you to promotions and better advancement. David Karp says, benefits of living apart allows couples to pursue their career freely without having to coordinate with each other for leisure, meals, and bedtime. Now, the advantages of meeting online, you get to know the person from their inside. They're just a little bit easier to open up to each other. Marlene Mong says, findings discovered that both men and women spend almost an equal amount of time on the internet communicating with their romantic partners, individuals who are most satisfied with their relationships or in constant communication with their partners to express their affection. Now, there are certain ways you can work through these long distance relationships, and one of the main is through our technology. You have all these mediums of technology through online, phone, texting to get the communication needed for your long distance relationship to grow. Plus, you just need to have the patience. Marlene Mong says, in studying long distance relationships and the perceived closeness through media, it has been found that these romantic relationships are perceived closer than friendships or family relationships. Another quote from Marlene Mong says, cell phones are the most available medium that is commonly used to nurture a relationship and express affection. She also states that one of the skills gained in the long distance relationships is independence, because individuals learn to manage time for themselves as well as their partners. Couples also learn to dedicate the time apart they have in their relationship to fulfill their personal goals and ambitions. So if you ever develop in a long distance relationship or in a long distance relationship, just remember that even with the disadvantages, there are many benefits to it. And there's many different ways of communication through today's technology that can make a relationship grow stronger, even stronger than a normal long distance relationship.